everyone, it's Clyde at Vibrant Soap, and I'm soaping today with a new fragrance that I haven't smelled before, but I've heard good things about it. It's called Jamaica Me Crazy, and let's see what I can do with that. I was thinking about what colors I would use for that, and then I thought Jamaica, and then I looked up the flag for Jamaica, and it has two kinds of greens and black in it, so I thought that's what I'm going to do. But I wanted to make sure that I combined the soap colors in such a way so that the contrast wasn't so striking, because to me the scent meant something a little bit more bright but smooth. So I'm going to play around with the order of the colors, and I'll get into the color tutorial and then we'll make the soap. I also don't want to forget to give a shout out to Elaine Wright at Springs Bath and Beauty and Valerie at Raven Song Soaps, because they are masters at this swirl, and you could just look at their soaps and they're just amazing. So I wanted to give them a shout out because it's watching them that made me want to try this swirl. So let's get on with the soap making. Okay, so I have to work this color scheme out, and it's fairly simple, but in its simplicity there's something that's pretty complicated to me, and that is, since I'm going to do this Taiwan swirl for the first time, I want to make sure that the colors are all pretty much bold and that they would contrast with each other. So I am going to use green and black. That's the no-brainer part for me. And I am taking cues from the Jamaican flag because the fragrance I'm using is Jamaican Me Crazy. And so it really comes down to finding that right second green that's going to work. And I think part of this is going to be where I place the colors in the swirl. So the colors that contrast the most should be next to each other. So I may change this order here. That next green is the trick, and that is, it's a little different. It's a little more yellow-green in nature. So those are going to be the colors. So I'll use this as my guide when I place the colors. I think that will even work. I don't want the contrast to be too in your face, so this order that just kind of came to me, sometimes it's my mind's eye that takes over, the overthinking of things, goes from the darkest value on down to the lightest value. And I think that might work, because as I swirl through the black's going to go into that. It's not the biggest contrast, but I think that's going to work. So let's take a look at that, and let's get started on the soap. Okay, so I've just mixed up my batter, and it smells really fruity and good. This is Jamaica Me Crazy, and we'll see how it works. I haven't used it before. I have a standby mold to take care of the excess soap, because I don't want to ruin the top by just pouring the excess different colors on the top. Alright, so let's blend these up and get it in. Light green, dark green, and the black. Okay, so we're going to start with the lightest color. So I was worried that it was thickening up on me, but then it became liquefied and it's just fine now. Okay, so let's get a little bit of this in there. Followed by the lighter green. Looks like pea soup now, but it'll get bright again. Okay, then the darker green. In the meantime, it smells like a tropical punch. I'm looking at it from the side and making sure that it's going to be level. These dividers are great, but as you can see, the two side areas are wider, so they take more soap. And I thought of that at the last minute. That looks pretty even. I'm going to save the soap, put it in here so that I can pour it into my little mold easier. I'm going to scrape these into that bowl as well. Okay, so it's really behaving well. So let me do my swirl. Going all the way down. And then around a couple times. That looks good. Alright, then I'll just let this solidify, saponify, probably overnight, and then I'm going to cut it. So in the meantime, I'm going to fill up these little molds. I didn't stir this a lot, so it'll still have some marbling in it. They look like little turtles. Okay, I'll be back for the cut. Okay, ready to cut this, and I want to retain this design that went in with the Taiwan swirl, so I'm going to cut this one a little differently, and it won't fit in my cutter for this part, so I'm going to bring back my trusty pink knife that hasn't made its appearance in a long time. I'm going to dedicate this to Kathy and she'll understand why. So I'm going to do two views for you. I'm going to do this first of all because people used to always ask me, how do you cut your soap so straight? So let me show you what it looks like from your angle first. And I'll show you the second angle for the next cut. So this is what I'm seeing. I'm looking straight down on my knife, lining it on the line, and you can see if I was crooked this way, the knife would look like that. Crooked this way, it would look like this. So if I'm looking at it straight from above, and so it's better to have a lower table so you can look down on your knife, then you can cut pretty straight. And there we go. And I left a little more on this end so I can trim this end as well. Okay, so now I have these essentially cubes, and I can slice them, and we'll see how that design comes out. So let me just put this in place and commence with the cutting. So there's the cut. And here's the actual top that has this design to it. And that you can tell that the cut inside is a lot more clean. So I may plane this, but I like that texture. There's the cut. And I will also say about this Jamaica Me Crazy fragrance that after it goes through the saponification process, I like the scent even more. It's not as sweet. It has a more rounded scent to it. So it smells good. Has a real jungle feel to me too. One more cut. There we go. So let me clean these up and show you what they look like once I do that.